Just imagine yourself as Kratos from God of War. This man is capable of destroying the entire Greek pantheon. But there is a catch. He is only in his full potential when he has highest of his health. Until then, he is recalled by even a small pawn. That is exactly your life right now. You tried everything you know to quit your addiction, but none of them actually worked because you right now don't actually have a good mental health. Let me explain. Your mental health determines how well is your willpower and happy you are. But somewhere in life, out of curiosity, you enter into a bad habit which deteriorates your mental health and it becomes a loop. Let me put it simple. When you have poor mental health, you indulge in addictions. When you drown yourself in addictions, your poor mental health even becomes worse. That is why you really cannot beat lust with your willpower because you are choosing the wrong approach. You see, instead of fixing the poor mental health, you are trying to change different things. You're trying to be disciplined. But discipline comes from poor mental health. No, it comes from good mental health. That is why you are stuck in a loop, my friend. But if you fix your mental health, you can easily come out of your addictions because your true default is in scarcity and addictions is actually abundance and inspiration. So, you right now have low HP, poor mental health. With a few things I am about to share, you will able to finally relieve and beat the lust just like an opponent in a video game. So, let's get into it. So, in the game of addictions, you're fighting against a boss who is bigger than you. Let me put it this way. In any video game, you start, once again, so, in any video game, you start from level 0 and progress your way up. That is how video game works. This is the same logic applies to your life. But the problem is, all of you have been fighting against a thing which is more powerful than you. That is why you really cannot beat lust right now. So, think about it for a second. You try to stay away from these filthy addictions, right? But they keep pulling towards you, okay? But 10 out of 10 times, when you try to quit them, you relapsed into them. That is why you are here, my friend. Let me explain. So, let's assume that you are currently fapping 3 times per day, right? Which means your mental health is absolutely cooked up, right? Your mental health is absolutely cooked. So previously, with the advices you hear on social media, will tell you to just quit your goddamn phone and pretend that you become a monk, right? But that thing never worked. That is why you are here. Again, 10 out of 10 times, you relapse into them because your mental health is not yet fixed. Okay? In other words, the reason you can't quit 3 times fapping or any other addiction you have because you are stuck in a loop of ego and mental health. Okay? This is the loop, guys. You make a little bit progress and your ego kicks in and you fall back. Like, that's how it works. That is why you really cannot make progress. Okay? So now, to actually fix it, you gotta improve your mental health and progressively reduce your addiction. Okay? Like this. I will explain it later. But what you gotta do is improve your mental health and progressively reduce your addiction. Okay? So, how exactly you have to do it? So, one second. Just like how you progressively increase your strength in the gym, you gotta do the reverse. You gotta progressively reduce your addiction. Okay. So, for example, If you are currently fapping 3 times a day, you gotta reduce it to 2 times per day. And you gotta reduce it to 1 times per day. You should not skip the progress and go straight into this. Okay? This is where your ego kicks in and it lets you to skip the progress. That is the problem. If you just fix that, if you just progressively reduce it, you will see results. So let me picture it for you. For example, if you are currently having like 12 hours of screen time, what you gotta do is reduce it to 11, then reduce it to probably like 10 or 9, then progressively reduce it hour by hour until you reach your goal. The key thing you have to understand here is you should not skip the progress and jump straight into this. That is what your social media says, okay? But it never worked. That is why you are here. If you just follow this progress, you will see results. Do not let your ego indulge into it, okay? You will definitely see results if you just follow this process, okay? So, just like in a video game, you can level yourself up. So, this is one of the tactic I listed here from my program called Mental Reality, okay? There are many tactics like this in there. So if you are interested, you can click the link in the description. Remember, if you actually know how to do all of this, you would have already been there. You are not. And yet, you have freedom of choice. You can only choose if you want to be successful or not. Inside mental reality, you can know the real tactics to improve your mental health, to improve your self image, to get permanent success in your life. Okay. So if you want, there is a link in the description. You can click